He kicked me so hard my breath left before the pain arrived. Ribs cracked like twigs under a boot that had never hesitated to break me. I tasted blood. My daughter screamed. And he looked down at me like I was the stain ruining his floor. "You don't deserve to breathe the same air as her," he shouted. Her, meaning my sister, the family's crowned parasite. The second kick landed while I was still trying to protect my face. Mom stood beside him, arms folded, eyes cold. "How dare you waste money on that kid?" My daughter, the only one I'd ever fought for. My sister smirked. "Shoulda given it to me, like you were supposed to." Uncle nodded. Finally, someone teaching her about family first. Family. That word had always been their weapon. Dad grabbed my hair, slammed my head against the floor. Stars burst behind my eyelids. "Next time you'll listen." Then he snatched the toy from my daughter's hands, the toy I'd bought her after weeks of her saving pictures of it on my phone. He threw it in the trash. I stood up slowly. Blood slid down my chin. My daughter sobbed in the corner, shaking like her bones were learning fear for the first time. That was the moment I stopped being their child, and I started becoming their downfall. Backstory. People always ask why I stayed as long as I did. They don't understand the prison that looks like a home from the outside. Dad wasn't always a monster. Or maybe he was. Maybe he was just better at hiding it back then. I used to think he was strict because he cared. That the shouting meant passion. That the hits meant I had disappointed him. I was trained to believe I deserved less. And when Mom told me that my sister needed more, I gave more. My earnings, my time, my silence. Every act of loyalty became another chain around my throat. But motherhood changes your threshold for pain. It gives you someone worth breaking the chains for. Discovery of the real betrayal. It wasn't today's beating that shattered me. It was last month, the day I found out they were planning to take my daughter away. I overheard them, Dad, Mom, sister, sitting in the kitchen. "She doesn't deserve that girl," Mom said. "She's raising her weak," Dad replied. Sister laughed. "Give the kid to me, I'll raise her properly." And Uncle chimed in. "Courts always listen to the family, not to a disobedient daughter." That was the moment I realized they weren't just trying to control me, they wanted to own my child. Shift in mindset. I began planning. I didn't argue, didn't confront, didn't cry. I smiled, and I started collecting. Photos of bruises, recordings of their threats, screenshots of messages where they demanded money, medical reports, my daughter's drawings of Grandpa screaming. I built a file, quietly, carefully, and then I went silent. A silence they mistook for obedience. Execution, the downfall begins. First, I visited a lawyer. Not a cheap one, one specialized in domestic violence and child custody. I used the savings I had hidden over years, the ones they thought I didn't have. Then I filed the reports. Police report, medical report, child protection report. Every one of them detailed, evidence-backed, irrefutable. I didn't warn them. I didn't give them time to prepare. I simply waited for the right moment. And today, when he kicked me, when he attacked me in front of my child, when 4 witnesses cheered him on, they handed me everything I needed. I pressed send on the folder, to the police, to the court, to my lawyer, to child services. And then I stood in the corner, holding my daughter, while sirens grew louder outside. Climax, watching them fall. The moment the officers entered the house, their confidence broke like glass. Dad tried to bluff. Mom cried. Sister screamed. Uncle protested. But the body cam footage recorded today spoke louder than their lies. They were arrested for assault, child endangerment, and coercive abuse. Sister was charged for collusion. Uncle for participation. Mom's face went pale when the officer said, "The child will not remain in your custody." For the first time in my life, they looked small, powerless, exactly as they had made me feel for years. Resolution, my final thought. As I held my daughter outside the house I'd spent my life trying to survive, I felt the bruises burn, but the air tasted clean. My father once told me I didn't deserve to breathe the same air as them. He was right. I deserved better. And now, finally, I breathe freely.